Over the past few years, Stellantis brands like Ram, Dodge, and Jeep have been totally destroyed by the parent company's CEO, Carlos Tavaris. MSRPs have been going up like crazy, quality's been going down, and sales are so bad that dealerships may not even be able to stay open in 2025. But recent news was just revealed that could change everything for Ram, Dodge, and Jeep in 2025. It was just announced that Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavaris will resign as CEO and is out effective immediately.
This is not a huge surprise. It's been known for some time within the auto industry that Carlos Tavaris and the Stellantis board were not on the same page. Well, it all spilled out into the open yesterday when Tavaris immediately resigned from the company.
That's right, the fiat-loving non-American is finally gone, and hopefully someone who understands what made these brands sell will actually take his place. Now, I'm a huge fan of Jeep, Ram, and Dodge, and I actually even own a Jeep Wrangler. So in my mind, this is really good news. But this announcement has tainted Stellantis stock almost immediately.
Stellantis shares falling after the CEO, Carlos Tavares, resigned abruptly.
And while those investors are uneasy about what's happening right now with Stellantis, the employees who actually work for these brands are excited.
Early morning reaction at Stellantis' Warren truck assembly plant was largely swift and decisive. Frustrated workers reporting for their shifts are happy he's gone.
Well, if you're not good for the company or in a good spot to keep us alive and pushing, I think you need to be moved for somebody who's qualified to do that and keep us on the right track so we can all prosper here.
I'm glad that he's gone. Pretty obvious that it probably should have happened a while ago.
The Stellantis employees are 100% right. They need a CEO that can keep them on the right track and fix all of the problems that Tavaris has created. So in this video, I want to look at how Tavaris killed iconic brands like Dodge, Ram, and Jeep, and what a new CEO could do to bring back these iconic American brands. Now, I'm here at a Ram, Dodge, and Jeep dealership today because I want to start this video off by talking about a lot of the issues that have been happening and the problems that Tavaris has been creating for these brands. And the first one I want to start with is with Ram and the prices. Over the past few years, prices of these trucks have gone up $10,000, $15,000, even $20,000 over what the MSRPs were just 3 years ago. As an example, this 2500 Ram Heavy Duty with the Cummins turbo diesel is $86,745 for a 2024 model year crew cab. And sure, you might think, oh, it's a 2500, it's for work, it's gonna be more expensive, there's more to it. Well, let me show you something here. Even the prices of one of the more standard 1500 Ram trucks can get pretty insane. I mean, this is a 1500 SST, a 2025 model 4x4 with the new 3-liter Hurricane turbo engine, and it's $69,505. And that doesn't even include a bed liner. But they do have something that's cheaper, if you want to call it cheap for what you get. This is just a pretty basic 1500 Hemi with the e-torque engine, white paint, plastic everything, steel wheels, and you would think a truck like this would be like 35 grand. It's actually more than that. This 2024 Tradesman, not even full-wheel drive, is $44,460. And as you can see inside, if you can see past the glare, it is really basic. It's probably the most basic truck you can get, and for 45 grand, you would expect a little bit more, I think. But the Ram truck is not the only one plagued with really high MSRPs. The price of a Jeep has also dramatically increased. This is a 2024 Sahara model, and you would think it'd be around mid-50s. It's actually $61,995. And this is a Willys, and it's pretty much one of the most basic ones you can get besides a Sport, and it's $56,170. And the interesting fact about the Willys and the Sahara is neither one of them have front or rear lockers, which honestly kind of sucks for $55,000 to $60,000. But if you think you're trying to go cheap by just grabbing a Sport S, which is the most basic freaking Wrangler that you can get, I mean, there's no side steps, the tires are not very aggressive, the interior is all cloth, and this price blows my mind. For a 2024 Sport S, it's $57,745. So the prices of the Jeep Wrangler are just running away from what most people can actually pay for. And if you wanted to jump into a Rubicon, and this is one of the more like mid-level trims of a Rubicon, that's $62,970. But the Wrangler is not the only one that's gotten really expensive. This is a Jeep Gladiator Mojave with steel bumpers and pretty much one of the highest trim levels that you can get along with a Rubicon. And they have two. They have this gray color and this white color. And I think this gray one was like $69,000. But the window sticker is like hard to read. The holidays are here, and for me, that means I'll probably be having a little bit of whiskey with my cousins every now and then. But what I don't love is how I feel the next day. That's where today's sponsor ZBiotics comes in. If there's a surefire way of feeling fresh after a night out drinking with my cousins, it's with this pre-alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. I got this little 6-pack from ZBiotics to test it out, and I drank one of these just before my first old fashioned, and I actually still felt really good the next day. I kept hearing about this pre-alcohol and wondered what it was actually like. And now that I've tried it, I get why everyone is talking about it. If you want to try this yourself, and I highly recommend it, just check out the link in the description to get 15% off of your first order. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. And remember to click the link in the description to get 15% off of your first order. Thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring this video and our good times. But this one right here is a 2024 model, and yes, they do have 24 models still sitting on the lot that haven't sold. But this is $68,980, almost 70 grand for a Gladiator pickup truck. And if you want a truck, I don't think people who are trying to spend 70 grand on a truck are looking at a Gladiator at this point. And they actually have way more Gladiators, probably 3 or 4 times as many Gladiators as they do Jeep Wranglers. Like you can see the Wrangler row right here, and then it just stops right there. But the Gladiators go all the way back to the end. And when it comes to stupid pricing at Jeep, nothing beats the stupid pricing like this vehicle I'm about to show you right here. And that's gonna be the Grand Wagoneer. This one right here is $101,000. And this Grand Wagoneer, as far as pricing goes, just takes the cake at $118,000, almost $119,000. But hey, at least it's got 22s. Now I think you get the point with Ram and Jeep and how the prices have just gone out of control. But there's another brand from Stellantis that has totally been screwed over by Tavaris. And that brand is Dodge. And first of all, we need to start with this little blue thing right here, known as the Hornet. Now, Tavaris is a European guy, he's a Fiat guy. He likes to put turbos on everything and just try to cheap out. And when you do something like the Hornet and you throw it in a brand like Dodge that's known for Hellcats and V8s and muscle and loudness and all of the stuff that a lot of American car enthusiasts love, and you throw something like the Hornet into the mix, it really devalues the Dodge brand as a whole. First of all, everything about this is just Fiat. From the design to the engine, it just doesn't say I'm a Dodge. Second of all, for how small this thing is, you would think it would be really, really cheap. But that's not the case. This 2024 Hornet RT is $49,620. And looking at this thing, you would not see this and be like, oh yeah, that's a $50,000 vehicle. I think I would like to pay $50,000 for that. No, nobody wants to pay $50,000 for a Dodge Hornet. And what makes matters worse for the Dodge brand is the Charger and the Challenger. Two of the most iconic vehicles that have loud V8s in them are pretty much canceled and being replaced by the electronic disaster that was revealed a year ago. And as a matter of fact, people are so irritated at Dodge and the enthusiasm is so low for the electric version of the Charger and the Challenger specifically, that recently Dodge has announced that they're actually going to be putting some internal combustion engines in the Challenger. So they'll finally be giving Dodge fans what they want. Now, what engines those will it be the Hurricane V6? Will they put a Hellcat engine in it, or is that just retired? That question remains to be seen, really. But in my opinion, I think if Dodge doesn't make a lot of changes to that new car, put a V8 in it, and honestly change the design a little bit, that Dodge as a brand is just gonna go under. Kind of like Chrysler right now. The only thing that Chrysler has new at the moment is a minivan. And really, that's all you can get from Chrysler because they don't sell anything else that's new. As a whole entire brand, all they sell are these two vehicles that I'm about to show you. They have the Chrysler 300, and we got these two right here. And what will those run you? So for this 2023 300S with the V8 engine, and before I tell you the price, I want to note one thing. If you notice that is a 2023 model, and we're nearing the final quarter of 2024. So that just tells you how long these two vehicles have been sitting on this lot. They still have 2023 models Chrysler 300 sitting here, and for this V8, It's $54,150. So these are really not selling very well. And I think in the 54,000 mark, there's just so many other options out there from, I mean, you could get a nice BMW or Mercedes. You could buy a Toyota Camry for a lot less than that, or a Corolla, and there's just other options available. And so it's really hard to justify spending that much money on a Chrysler 300, especially when used ones, they depreciate so fast and you can get a way better deal than that new one. Some of what I see here just kind of blows my mind. You would think a minivan that's built for families would be a little bit more affordable, but that's not the case. So this Pacifica Touring with an appearance package is a 2024 model, and it'll run you $48,490. And I don't think I would just pay that much for a minivan. I usually see these Chrysler Pacificas as rentals. So most of the time when I see these, I don't really see that many families buying them. I always see them as rental cars, which is kind of interesting. But the crazy thing is, that's like an entry-level price of a Pacifica. This one here, that's a hybrid, probably gets you better gas mileage, but also is way more expensive. And here's what that'll run you. This is a 2024 plug-in hybrid for $58,455. I don't know about you, but for $58,000, I'm buying like an SUV like this Jeep Grand Cherokee right here. It's just much cooler, in my opinion, and it's a great looking vehicle. Now, one very interesting thing to note about Chrysler is that recently the great-grandson of Chrysler's founder wanted to actually rescue Chrysler and purchase it. But at the end of the day, Stellantis replied to him, and the CEO said that none of the brands are for sale. I feel like they would rather run Chrysler into the ground and just totally get rid of it than have anyone continue its legacy, which honestly is a little bit sad. Now, so far we've discussed two of the major issues with Stellantis brands. We've talked about prices going up on just about everything. We've talked about Dodge getting rid of their V8 engines, so there's no more Hellcats or anything. But there's another problem plaguing all of the Stellantis brands that really doesn't get talked about as much unless you actually own one. And I have personally been through the back and forth of issues with one of the Stellantis brands, and that is with Jeep, and specifically my Jeep Rubicon. Now, this isn't brand new. It's a 2019 that I bought used last summer in 2023. And when I bought it, it only had about 14,000 miles. And obviously, there really weren't any issues that I found right away. But eventually, two big things happened that caused me to think twice about the reliability of Jeep. Not that Jeep has ever been reliable to begin with. One of those problems started under the hood at around 30,000 miles. And yes, I put a lot of miles on this because I took a bunch of road trips. At just around 30,000 miles, I started smelling radiator fluid. So I popped the hood, examined kind of everything that was going on under here, and I saw a leak of fluid right around this section here. So basically, this plastic piece had started to unseal itself and just leak everywhere. And you can't just buy that plastic fitting, you have to buy the entire hose for around $100 to get that. And now, at the time, my Jeep was covered under warranty. But like I said, the service is just not that great. And for one little $100 part, they probably would have charged me $500 in labor to replace the whole thing. So I just did it myself. I spent $100 on the hose. Instead of replacing the hose all the way back to the firewall, I just pulled this plastic fitting off, replaced that from here to here in this section, put new clamps on from AutoZone, and in an hour I had fixed the problem myself. But the second problem about this Jeep is really frustrating and something that I cannot fix by myself. And most people don't know this unless you own a Wrangler. But if you look right here really closely, there are bubbles in my paint along the hinges and around the edge. And hopefully you can see that bubbling right there. Now, this hinge on this side is the worst one, but there's also another spot right along the edge of the hood that might be hard to see, but it's right here. Don't mind that, that's just from a tree. These two hinges are okay, and these are pretty much okay. Now, that paint bubbling wouldn't be a huge issue if I could get it fixed. And what happened once I got to the service center here really kind of made me angry. At first it was fine. I got to the dealership, I went to service. They said, yeah, we'll take care of it. It's under warranty, because I had 6 months left on my warranty at the time, and I thought it would be fixed. They took photos of the hinges, they wrote notes, and then I left. Well, a month goes by, I hear nothing, so I came back up to the dealership to talk about it and why nothing has moved forward. And some guy came out, I heard he's not even here anymore. I was talking with the salesman, they said he's not here anymore. And when I said, hey, I came here a while back, they took photos. When is it gonna get taken care of? When are you gonna repaint and fix the door? And you know what that jackwagon told me? He said, we can't get anyone in for 6 months. I don't know where the photos that she took are. And by the way, she's not here anymore. And so I told him, I said, well, in 6 months, my warranty expires and I can't get it fixed. And then I'm out of pocket. And you know what that little turd did? All he did was throw up his arms. That's it. His answer was just throwing up his arms. And so not only am I stuck with paint bubbling on the hinges, the dealerships are just saying it's my problem now and not taking care of it. So hopefully they can get a new CEO in here that can fix the quality control problems and also talk to these dealers and say, hey, when we mess up, when we have a problem, we'll take care of it and we'll treat the customer right. Because now I'm out of warranty and I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix the bubbling paint myself. So at the end of the day, it's not gonna be difficult for a new CEO to come in and actually fix all the crap that Tavaris has screwed up. Make a new design of the Challenger and the Charger that people love. Continue to put V8 engines in them. Sure, give them the option of an electric one, of the Hurricane V6, but also come out with a new Hellcat. Come out with a new Demon. There's room for it. If Ford can continue making V8 Mustangs and GT500s, then Dodge can do that as well. And at the same time, just fix your quality control, treat customers right, and stop cutting corners. If the new CEO comes in and can fix these problems, then I really think the Jeep, Dodge, and Ram brands can continue to build a legacy in America that we've all loved. If you made it this far in the video, make sure you hit like so more people can reach it. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.